gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, as we get ready for NXT TakeOver Phoenix, let's look back at takeovers. We've had 22 of these NXT takeovers. There's been 117 matches. We've had some of the greatest professional wrestling ever during these takeovers. Now, I'm going to run down the 12 best women's, 12 best men's matches throughout the 22 reign, whatever you want to call it, 22 episodes of NXT TakeOver. We're going to start with the women. Number 12 on the list comes from War Games, the first War Games. Fatal 4-Way for the NXT, Fatal 4-Way for, this for the women's title? I think this was... Yeah, this was for the women's NXT Women's title, Fatal 4-Way. We had Nikki Cross versus Peyton Royce versus Kairi Sane versus Ember Moon. Ember Moon ended up getting the victory there in 3.5-star fashion. Next, from New Orleans TakeOver, we had champion Ember Moon defending her title versus Shayna Baszler. This is when Shayna won her first NXT Women's title match. I gave it 3 3/4. Was there live. Great match live. Great match on the replay. Number 10 comes from TakeOver Dallas. We had champion Asuka versus Bayley. This was during the early part of Asuka's long 523-day title run. She did get the victory over Bayley there in Dallas with 3 3/4-star match. Number 9 comes from TakeOver Unstoppable. Champion Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. Sasha ended up getting the victory, 4-star match. Number 8 comes from TakeOver Rival. We had a Fatal 4-Way for the NXT Women's title. This is back when we had the 4 horsewomen of NXT. Sasha Banks versus champion Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch versus Bayley. Sasha getting her first NXT Women's Championship there in a 4-star classic. So at the first TakeOver, now NXT TakeOver did not start when NXT started. So NXT was going on for a while, it had titles and all that before the TakeOver started. So at the very first TakeOver, which was called TakeOver, we had a vacant NXT Women's Championship. Paige had vacated it when she moved up to the main roster. So we had number 1 contender Charlotte Flair with Ric Flair in her corner versus number 1 contender Natalya Neidhart with her uncle Bret Hart in her corner. Charlotte Flair winning the NXT Women's Championship at the first ever NXT Women's TakeOver in a 4-star match. Woo! Alright, number 6 on the list comes from Brooklyn 2. We had champion Asuka defending her title once again versus Bayley. Once again, Asuka, this is early on in her 523-day title run, getting the victory in a 4-star match over Bayley. Number 5 came from NXT TakeOver Respect. It was the 30-minute Iron Woman match between champion Bayley and Sasha Banks. Bayley getting the victory, 4 1/4-star match. Number 4 comes from Brooklyn 3. Champion Asuka defending her title versus Ember Moon. This was one of 2 matches that these 2 ladies had in back-to-back takeovers that were equally as good. And it was basically, really can't say 4, it was more 3A, 3B. This was Brooklyn 3. Asuka got the victory, 4 1/4. At Orlando, which I had number 3 on my list, Ember Moon versus Asuka. Asuka getting the victory. I also gave it 4 1/4. So it's pretty much 3A, 3B, every which order you want to put them in. Both matches were phenomenal. 2 of the greatest women's matches ever. Number 2 came from Brooklyn 4 this past year. We had Shayna Baszler versus the first ever Mae Classic winner, Kairi Sane, the Pirate Princess. Kairi Sane beating Shayna Baszler to become NXT Women's Champion, 4 1/4-star match. The greatest women's match in the history of NXT TakeOver came from the very first Brooklyn. We had Bayley challenging champion Sasha Banks. Bayley becoming NXT Women's Champion here. 4.5-star classic. Now we get on to the men's. Now, most of the men's matches, I would say 9 of the 10, or 9 of the 12, hold on, let me look. Sorry. Let's see. All but 2 of these came in 2018. So number 12 on the list came from the first ever NXT TakeOver Chicago, which was 2017, I believe. Ladder match for the NXT tag titles. We had champion AOP versus DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. This match was fantastic to see AOP being able to do the ladder spots and do everything that they needed to do to climb the ladder to win the tag titles was phenomenal. The end of this is when Ciampa turned on Gargano at the end and the feud that followed out of that. I actually gave the match itself 4.5 star. Number 11 comes from War Games 2, which was last year. Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black. 4.5 star classic. Aleister Black getting the victory. This is just unbelievable, just oh my god match. So 4.5 star on that one. Number 10 come from Brooklyn 4. We had the NXT tag titles on the line. We had the Undisputed Era challenging Mustache Mountain. Again, just one of those matches that's like you just gotta keep watching. The Undisputed Era retaining their titles there. I gave it 4.5. From War Games 2, number 9 on the list, the War Games match. The Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Baby, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Roddy Strong, taking on the War Raiders, Ricochet and Pete Dunne. I gave it 4 3/4. I know I've talked to people who didn't like it as much. I thought it was a great match. It's one of my favorite NXT TakeOver matches. So the War Raiders, Ricochet and Pete Dunne getting the victory in War Games. Number 8 came from TakeOver Philadelphia. It was an Extreme Rules match. Aleister Black taking on Adam Cole. What better match is there? That wasn't even the best match of TakeOver Philadelphia, and it was 4 3/4, and Aleister Black got the victory over Adam Cole. From way back at TakeOver Revolution, a long time ago, NXT Championship match, Sami Zayn versus Neville, the man that gravity forgot, who's known as Pac now. Sami Zayn putting his career on the line in this match. If he lost this match, he would leave NXT. He won. He stayed in NXT. He moved up to the main roster. We know what. So this match was 4 3/4. Sami Zayn getting the victory. From War Games 2, number 6 on the list for the NXT Championship, we had the Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa. Now there's a name you're going to hear a lot in the rest of this show. Velveteen coming just so close to beating Tommaso Ciampa. Unfortunately, Ciampa was able to retain. Fortunately, I'm a huge fan of both of them. I gave it 4 3/4. Again, one of the greatest matches ever in NXT history. Velveteen Dream, didn't like him at first. Thought he's a great wrestler, didn't like the character. Still don't really like the character, is what it is. When he had the match versus Aleister Black, Aleister beat him, but knowing how great Aleister Black is, having that match, and at the end, it was always Say My Name by Dream. At the end, Black beat him and then said his name. It's like, oh my god, this dude's freaking, Velveteen Dream is freaking awesome. I hope it translates in the main roster. I hope he does get a push. Number 5 on the list comes from TakeOver New Orleans. NXT North American Championship first match in a ladder match. EC3, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Adam Cole, Baby, Velveteen Dream, and Ricochet. King Ricochet. 5-way for a ladder match for the NXT North American title. Was there live. This match did not disappoint at all. 4 3/4 star. Was it the best ladder match in New Orleans WrestleMania weekend 2018? It was right there with the Ring of Honor one. That was actually conversation that night at the hotel. Which show had the best ladder match? There was a group of us that went to NXT. There was a group that went to Ring of Honor. At least in 2019, if you go to New York, you do not have to choose which show you go to. You can go to both. Just fuck the Hall of Fame. TakeOver on Friday, G1 Supercard on Saturday, and Mania on Sunday. God, I wish I could go to New York this year. So Adam Cole, baby, becoming the first ever NXT North American champion. Number 4 on the list came from Chicago 2. It was a street fight. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa getting the victory. I gave it 4 3/4 star. Now, the feud between Gargano and Ciampa. Basically, it is the rest of the top matches in the history of NXT TakeOver. That was number 4, the second Chicago 2 TakeOver street fight. Number 3 on the list comes from New Orleans, the unsanctioned match between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Again, they're live. Hi, they're live. Amazing Johnny Gargano versus Ciampa. It tells such a great story when you watch these matches. And Johnny Gargano getting the victory there. Amazing, amazing, amazing match. The next match, again, the same feud. Brooklyn 4, NXT title on the line this time. Challenger, Johnny Gargano versus champion, Tommaso Ciampa. Finally, title match for these guys. Again, the New Orleans match I gave 5 stars to. Brooklyn 4, Tommaso Ciampa retaining his NXT title. Again, 5 stars. Now, that ends the Ciampa Gargano feud. Yeah, I know, I said the next 4. Yeah. The greatest match in the history of NXT TakeOver. The first match that I have ever said 5 stars. NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. NXT Championship on the line. Johnny Gargano versus champion Andrade Cien Almas. If you've not seen this match, you need to go get the WWE Network. First month is free. Watch TakeOver Phoenix. Watch WrestleMania or watch Royal Rumble. Go back on demand and watch this match. It is worth a free month of WWE Network to watch. Andrade Cien Almas, Johnny Gargano, 5-star. NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. Andrade Cien Almas getting the victory. I knew how great Tommaso Ciampa was. Was still on the fence with Andrade Cien Almas, or just now known as Andrade. Watch this match. Oh my God, Andrade Cien Almas needs to fucking win the 2019 Royal Rumble. He can be, and should be, and better be the next Eddie Guerrero. That is how good this guy is. WWE, NXT, if you don't fucking make this guy the fucking king of the world, you're stupid. I know I've seen something online where Andrade's been telling other luchadors, do not go to WWE. So if you have a guy known telling people don't fucking go to WWE, what does that tell you? Go to AEW. Alright, that's going to wrap up the best of NXT TakeOvers. Make sure you check out the best of the Royal Rumble and the NXT TakeOver preview, the Royal Rumble preview, and on and on and on. Going to have a ton of stuff up on Rubber Sports Show the Royal Rumble weekend. But as always, thanks for watching Rubber Sports Show. And don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Rubber Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.